The film begins by showing a famous chef, Paul, who leads a culinary industry team called Hunger. Like its name, Chef Paul wants to make his customers always hungry because of the dishes served by the Hunger team. Therefore, rich people who invite him to cook will not hesitate to eat greedily because of the delicacy of the food from the Hunger team. The scene moved on to show a family's local restaurant that serves stir-fried noodles. The restaurant has family recipes passed down from generation to generation. And now, the restaurant is run by a girl named Oi. At that time, there's a customer named Tone. He gave Hunger's business card and invited Oi to work there. However, Oi, who didn't know about Hunger, then asked her friends. And suddenly, they were very surprised. They thought this was a golden opportunity for Oi so she could improve her cooking skills and become a famous chef like Paul. Chef Paul is indeed a #1 chef in Thailand. At this time, he was invited by many VIPs who wanted to taste his cooking. It's no wonder if they wanted to invite Chef Paul, they had to make a reservation in advance and pay him a fantastic price. The next day, Tone came back to pick up Oi and took her to the Hunger restaurant. The kitchen looks so clean and tidy that it makes Oi very amazed. That day, before joining the Hunger team, of course Oi had to take a test. Chef Paul will match Oi with a man who graduated from a culinary school to make a simple menu, fried rice. Knowing that, his opponent felt arrogant and thought the test was too easy. You can see that the fried rice, made by these two participants, was very different. I's rival chose premium ingredients for his fried rice, while Oi instead used leftover rice and mixed it with 2 eggs and some seasonings. After the fried rice was cooked, now it was Chef Paul's part to judge, without tasting it. Chef Paul immediately told I's opponent to go home, because the one who passed the test was Oi. After that, Oi officially joined the Hunger team. She was then asked to clean up and replace her clothes with a chef jacket with the words, Hunger. After that, Tone introduces Oi to all the Hunger members, who have different tasks. And Oi will definitely get her own tasks. But for now, Tone still assumes that Oi will be an assistant chef, equal to himself. After that, Chef Paul gathered them and said that in a few days, they will get an invitation to cook at the birthday, a high-ranking officer. They plan to serve a meat and blood-themed dish, and of course with high-quality meat. Chef Paul assigns Oi as the person in charge. He said that the meat must be sliced very thin and cooked well done. Before that, Chef Paul asked Oi to slice the meat. Oi, who has never cooked with premium ingredients, finds it very difficult. She failed many times and was snapped by Chef Paul. Oi was tested again to cook the Wagyu beef. As before, she kept failing and made mistakes many times, because everything had to be exactly according to Chef Paul's wishes. As a result, Chef Paul ordered Oi to keep practicing. If tomorrow morning she leaves and gives up, then she will lose her chance to become someone special. Oi can't stand all the nagging from Chef Paul, so she intends to leave. But after considering everything, she suddenly changes her mind and returns to the kitchen. Now, Oi is determined to keep practicing until she can cook well done A5 Wagyu beef. The next day, the Hunger team found Oi sleeping in the kitchen after she practiced all night. They can see the oil and fire splash marks on her hands. It's describing how hard she practiced. And it turned out that I's efforts were not in vain. She finally managed to cook the meat according to Chef Paul's wishes. Long story short, the day of the event finally arrived. The event was filled with important people in Thailand, including a culinary entrepreneur named Toz. He wanted to sponsor the Hunger for a long time, but Chef Paul always refused. After the event started, Oi was then asked to cook A5 Wagyu beef in front of all the guests. People were amazed by her skills, especially the taste of the dish was so delicious that the guests licked their plates to finish it. Amazed by I's ability, Toz immediately gave his business card to her. Since that day, Oi was assigned to accompany Tone to places that provide the best ingredients for cooking. From the start, Chef Paul always buys the best quality ingredients, even though he has to pay a high price. For him, only the best ingredients will create delicious dishes. The next day, the Hunger team is ready for the next event. Everyone looked busy, but Oi didn't even get assigned anything. When she asked Chef Paul, she was instead assigned to wash the dishes, mop the floor, and take out the trash. Hearing that, of course Oi didn't accept it, and protested to Chef Paul. Then, Chef Paul said that everyone there was carrying out tasks according to his orders. Just because Oi received praise from the guests yesterday, it doesn't mean she is an important person in the team. Chef Paul tests Ai's chopping speed by comparing her to a member of the Hunger team. At that time, Oi was injured and proved that she is unfit for the position. When Oi was at home, she tried to cook steak for her family. When Ai's family tasted the food, they confessed that they did not like it. They prefer the stir-fried noodles made by their father. This finally made Oi realize that even food can show social inequality. Poor people define food to survive, while rich people define food to satisfy their lust with delicious and quality dishes. That day, the rich family was seen eating something called caviar. So, out of curiosity about the taste, Chef Paul stole a small jar of caviar and wanted to try it. Unfortunately, he was found out, and their Sona shouted at him as a thief. The jar of caviar then fell from his hands and finally shattered. The employer was furious, and would cut Paul's mother's salary for several months. While cleaning her up the scattered caviar on the floor, Chef Paul also tried it, and found that it didn't taste good. Since then, he was determined to become a chef so that rich people could crawl to try his cooking. Arriving home, Oi heard the news that Hira's father was taken to the hospital because he was tired of cooking at the restaurant. It made Oi feel guilty because since working out of the Hunger, Oi could no longer help her father. When she was in the hospital, Oi saw news at a family that had previously invited the Hunger team. They reportedly committed suicide because they was in debt. This made Oi even more confused because if the problem was like that, why did they have to invite the Hunger team, even though they can use the money to pay off the debts? That's how big Chef Paul's influence is in the culinary world, so people are willing to do anything to try his cooking. Ai's suspicions got worse when Chef Paul didn't hesitate to cook a hornbill. Though, he knew that it was a protected bird species. Can't stand Chef Paul's ambition, Tone and Oi finally decided to quit from the Hunger. After stopping working at the Hunger, Oi had to have another income, considering she had to pay her father's hospital bills. Oi finally remembered Toz, who at the time had given her a business card. Of course, Toz, who saw Oi, immediately greeted her with pleasure. He even immediately invested in Oi by making her a very luxurious restaurant. As a head chef, Oi is required to make a special menu, which is her trademark. With the help of several people, Oi continues to innovate so she finally can make a menu according to her wishes. Unexpectedly, our Euro's dish menu received attention from various groups. Oi became very famous and many people queued to try her cooking. Long story short, Euro's team was invited by one of Thailand's top celebrities named Milky. Unexpectedly, at the event, Ai's team was paired with Chef Paul's team. Dish after dish from the two chefs made the guests very satisfied. Ai's team cooks dishes that are meaningful, and made with love. While Chef Paul, as usual, presents a food with a dirty and bold concept. Chef Paul tells Oi that she could never fight against him. Because as a famous chef, people have high expectations, and always believe that all his dishes must be delicious. In the midst of that situation, some police suddenly came and arrested Chef Paul. He was arrested because Tone had spread a video where Chef Paul was cooking hornbills, and course, this is because of the support from Toz. What Oi is seeing right now seems to show that to become someone special, they will sacrifice anything. Also just realized that her ambition is to compete with Chef Paul. She lost the time with her family, who always supported her. Oi didn't want to end up like Chef Paul, so she finally decided to go home, and return to run her family's local, stir-fried noodles restaurant as before, and the film ends indeed for the sake of achieving dreams, there will be many things that we have to sacrifice. People who become celebrities have to give up their whole life for public consumption, so that they no longer have privacy. Just like people who want to become famous chefs, they must always try to satisfy their customers, and continue to show innovation in cooking so that not infrequently they are forced to do illegal things to make their dreams come true. So, whatever you are doing now, always do it wholeheartedly. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.